Wagwan, Mr. Maps.
Yo, what it do, what it is.
What it is, big man? Are you alive and kicking?
Nah, that's right. Sibona January, Nyago Mucha, all of that formal wadi that we say to each other.
Happy New Year, dog.
Are people Happy New Year, my guy? Are people still saying Happy New Year?
Yeah.
Like when you meet them now.
Well, they should be. They should be. I mean,
It's just
I'd believe Uguti at this moment in time. Being this being the first episode of the year,
yeah.
people want to hear a Happy New Year episode. There's still a long way to go in
Yeah, I stopped after the
2023.
10th, bro. I mean, the 10th
Although
is my cutoff point.
I found that I've stopped doing it in a work sense. So I used to, like, when I started working, probably the whole of Jan, when I started doing articles, I'd be like, Happy New Year, please find attached. Happy New Year, please find attached. Kind regards, all of
Yeah.
that. And then with time, I just found that I was like, nah. Like this year, I very rarely sent a Happy New Year. It's like, hi, please find attached. I hope your holidays were great.
So you used to be the Happy New Year guy. It just sounds like
I used to be.
the happiness is leaving you.
Dude, I think back in the day, when you're excited to be employed and it's your first Christmas season as an employed person, uh, it was cool back then. Katesi is like, actually, let's just get to it.
Yeah, no. I think I'm with you in the sense that it gets kind of like, bro, like I don't have that type of energy to keep going back and saying Happy New Year. I start class personally. I think, like I said, for me after the 10th, I'm good. I'm okay. Like I feel like we all globally know, we're in the new year, and we've done that. So like that you can. I'm really not a fan of small talk in general. Especially if you're
Yeah.
not like if I'm talking to you, then yeah, small talk is relevant because it's like, all right, you're my guy, right? I like to talk to you, but like if we're not boys, or
Yeah.
just we don't talk like that, it's so awkward because we're forcing things, and you're
Yeah.
forcing me to be fake, and that's I think what I hate most about it. You're making me pretend, and I hate pretending.
Okay. That's an interesting worldview, Mr. Maps. So, in case you guys are wondering, this is why Tabo doesn't randomly just talk to me. I'm going just ignore him. If he ignores you,
Yeah, no, if you're a stranger, don't chat to me,
keep it
bro.
moving.
Just keep it moving, fam. Keep it moving. That's the energy on 2023. But I will formally Happy New Year, guys. I hope everybody made it safely into the new year. I hope your December was lit. I hope you're not broke and struggling. Again, today is payday, so or by the time that you listen to this, your wallets will be full again. So let's go back, let's spend that money, let's party, pop bottles, the usual. But obviously, if this is your first time listening and you're like, what the hell is going on? Well, it is 6 foot weights, your favorite hour with your favorite cheese boys. My name is Tabo.
My name is Senna.
And we are here. We're refreshed. We're ready. Hey, bro, there's so much shit that happened since we stopped recording. I was just noting down things here and there. Like,
We've been gone
it's
for
just,
like over
I
a
think,
month, yeah?
yeah, but just a bit, maybe a month and a week, five,
Okay.
6 weeks, somewhere there. And ish, bro, certain things, I think the common theme where I just personally reflect. I felt first of all, I felt bad for my poor wife because there were moments where she would just look at me and she's like, "Bruh, when are you guys recording again, bro? Go and talk to Senna about this. I'm not interested." Because I'm literally trying to have a debate with her. Babe, what do you think? And I'm like, but why? Like I'm expecting a challenge. And she's like, bruh, me, I just want to watch Suits, Can you leave me alone? So we literally, yeah, she was suffering. So I'm sure she's happy now. Yo, okay. Like I can go back to
Uh,
just the normal tabo, I'm going and I've got somewhere to express my opinions. But I think the theme for myself was pretty much I'm almost convinced that we live in a simulation because ain't no way some of this shit that happened is real, bro.
Ain't
Like
no
it's
way.
bro, it will talk about certain things today, and I'm just, I just sat back and I'm like, the number of people falling for the okey doke, right? And it's like, at
Falling
some
for the
point,
what?
you said I like if the okey doke, like it's just you when someone is pressing your
Oh
buttons
yeah, yeah, yeah.
on
Oh
purpose
yes.
and then you
Oh,
react,
that
you
happens a
give them
lot.
the reaction that they want. Yeah, and I'm just like, guys, at some point, it's like I feel like Senna, right? If I'm provoking you, right? If I've been provoking you, saying certain things, Senna, you're not buff, Senna, you're scral, like Aula
Gains of
bicep, whatever
shark.
it is, right? The gains are shot, right? And then let's say, first few times you get emotional, right? But then I feel like the fifth time, on the fifth day, I try to do it. You're like, you know what? I'm not actually vexed. Like today you're not. You know what I mean? Like I feel like not enough people out there are protecting their peace,
Okay.
and I just wonder. I'm like, how are you allowing strangers on the internet to ruin your day? Like, how are you allowing that? And then now you are typing essays for, Tabo and Senna to come on a podcast and laugh at you. Like, come on, dog. Like, I want better for these niggas, man. Like, it's just so many. I was like,
Yeah.
aye,
But remember the example
man.
that we always make, especially about Twitter, right? Uguti, it's like the man of the street example, right? You wouldn't ordinarily get vexed about what random strangers are seeing when you walk past them in the mall, right? You're not going to start randomly. Maybe you overhear a conversation of two people talking about traditional roles and gender roles and fixing a plate and all of these things and blah blah blah. And then lawe usumsukela umuntu in the mall, you turn around and you enter the conversation and you get emotional and you start shouting at them and calling them all sorts of misogynists and misogynoirists and all these things. Um, and sometimes
Oh,
I
yeah. What
think,
did you say misogynoir was, by the
oh,
way?
that's misogyny, but from that misogynoir is laced with race.
Uh-huh.
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
see.
So
I see.
sometimes I think within, and that's why maybe the closed circles feature on Twitter has been so important, because people then feel like they can have a safer space to have conversations with people that they know and debates and arguments with people that they actually know and want to talk
Yeah.
to. Because Katesi, you're going to be picking up fights with each and every Tom, Dick, and Chabulani out there that's got an opinion.
Yeah, I think definitely that's a really good thing to shout out actually. Those, circles, yeah, it's important. I've seen Nat is a big proponent of these circles. Every time I see a tweet from Nat, it's got like a green lokoze next to it. I'm like,
Tabo,
yeah, she
don't
knows.
expose Nat. Maybe there's people who listen to this podcast who are like, how come Nat doesn't have opinions on something?
No, but it's public. No, it's public though. Like Anthony will say only people Nat follows can respond to this or whatever it is, right?
Only
I
people in
see.
her close circle can see. No, no, no. So close circle is
Oh,
different
really? Oh, it's a
from,
C.
yes, kono kunye where only people in Nat's close circles can see this. So that's what I'm saying, Guti. Maybe you're like putting her out there. Maybe Glabantu who are
Oh.
following her who don't see her.
Oh, who assume this is everything that she tweets?
Yeah, and maybe there's like the deeper stuff that she
You know
delves
what?
into
Let me
in
do,
close
yo.
circle.
I've been dying to let out some tweets, bro. I've been dying to let out a couple. Let me just do that because I've just been kind of holding myself back. Because I'm like I can't look at. But if you could
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that,
Yeah, you can. So then I think you can curate who can see, and then by that way, those people will be able to respond
oh yeah, no,
and blah,
that's
blah, blah.
great. No, that's great because I've seen people. There's people who have locked accounts who get real brave. I end up, but like it was always like at the end of the day, it's like nah,
Yeah.
bruh, unlock the item. Let's if you want the smoke, unlock. Let's see. I promise. I definitely will not defend anyone on Twitter.
I
Like if
must
Senna is getting cooked, I'm sorry.
I must caution,
I'm
however,
gonna
that you're
laugh.
not immune to screenshot gang. So
That is true. I mean, but
people,
also that's also like a lot, bro. If you're going to go to the extent of, I mean, typically people take screenshots. We've all taken screenshots, but it's more so. I don't know. Actually, I've never been in a situation where someone took screenshots and it's turned into like a huge, kerfuffle, right? It's more so been okay now. A certain set of niggas know who maybe didn't know, right? But it's kind of
Yeah.
like it dies. So like some drops in the group chat some screenshots and be like, "Hey, bruh, this stage is wilding." It's kind of like, ah, yeah, no, she is wilding, and then we kind of move on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I've never seen things escalate, at the end of the day. But I think there's a bunch of different things, bro. I don't even think we're gonna get to everything, but let's, try our best not to go too deep. But like one thing that I did see, which was interesting. So before we get into the simulation, the Twitter shit, I did see this on Twitter, but I didn't get time to actually research it fully. But apparently, you know Benedict Cumberbatch, right?
No.
Doctor Strange,
Oh, yes, yes, Doctor
Sherlock.
Strange. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. So that man apparently is either going to or considering paying reparations because apparently his family fortune was made off of like a slave plantation in the Caribbean, something along those lines, if I remember the article correctly. And he's thinking about paying back those families that were disenfranchised because of that or whatever, or the descendants of the slaves of that particular plantation. I'm guessing people did the ancestry.com and then they were like, yeah. So I don't know, to me when I saw that headline, I kind of felt like I didn't know how to feel, to be honest with you, because I was 50-50 on it. And, obviously, and like, oh, yeah, that's great if you're going to, try to pay reparations, right? But I'd wanted to know exactly I'd be more curious about what is the structure of how these reparations are going to be paid and who
Mm.
exactly is getting paid, who's eligible to be paid and who's not, right? That's what I wanted to know. But also on the other side is like I don't know if an individual paying reparations is enough to in terms of impact, right? I think if collectively I'm a cure, right? Were to say, right, hey, we fucked up, guys, big time. We need to pay reparations, right? Then okay, that's going to have a huge impact
Mm.
if we're talking specifically about the black community. And then also at that, if they ended up doing that, then there's other communities that are going to be like, yeah, 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 whoa, 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 whoa. But you niggas also, the first people that come to mind are Indians. Indians are like, whoa, England, what are you doing? Fam, there's us, you know what I mean? So it's kind of logically speaking, I don't know how it would work because I do think it would have to be like fundamentally like right, this is how we're gonna do it, and it has to be billions of dollars, if not trillions, really, right? As a
Yeah, of
commitment
course.
from a bunch of different nations. So that's where I was kind of like, ha, I don't know, because I mean, good on him for thinking he needs to do that, but yeah, I don't know how that's going to work and what kind of precedents that sets as well.
Do you think it's actually, like I said, possible in general for these countries, first world countries, as they are right now, to maybe not? I don't even know how you'd calculate reparations or any of that stuff.
That's another thing as well.
How where does it extend to? In South Africa, it would be from 1652. Do you know? Do the Dutch come and they pay from then, or do the English pay from 1910 when they took
Exactly.
over?
It was only get insurance, so we'll co-pay.
Yeah, it's difficult. What I think needs to happen, though, practically speaking, I think what works, and instead of the area, because I think the reparations chat is not going to happen. It's not practical, and I think the in the real world, I think there should be bigger commitment from previously advantaged communities to reinvest in
Yeah.
the communities that they infringed upon, right? So if you know that you're the British monarchy or the British Empire and you participated in the slave trade of people from maybe the Cape to Liverpool or from Argentina to wherever, it that it's important that then you reinvest in those communities in order to uplift and improve
Yeah, I
the
think
living
that's
conditions in
that's
those
probably
places.
the cleanest way that it would happen, where they would have to take like a fundamental step to be like, right, these countries, we are actively going to subsidize
Yeah.
XXX industries to kind of try to revitalize them, to get the countries back on their feet. Like those would be the type of quote unquote reparations that I
Mm.
think would work and would be long lasting. Because throwing money at the situation is temporary, even if it's a huge sum of money.
Yeah.
At some point, it could be 100 years down the line, but at some point, it's going to be like emancipated,
Yeah, it's gone.
right? And then are they going to be like, hey, but silipile 10 trillion, you know
No,
what I
no,
mean?
no,
Like,
no, no.
so it needs to be
It needs to be
one
an
of those things where you can,
ongoing sort of thing where
yeah,
you're every year you're funding education or healthcare in Zimbabwe.
yeah.
Every year
I mean,
you're
one
doing
thing
X, Y,
that
Z. Yeah.
they could look at, I don't know if it worked or it didn't work, but they did that with the Native Americans that were there. So
Okay.
there's like reservation. Although it sounds weird when people talk about, because they're like there's reservations for Native American. It makes them sound like savages, right? Because there's like, if there's a reservation, reservations in Wazio are for like animals, right? To protect endangered animals.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like, it sounds wild to me. Whereas like in my mind, if you say reservations, that just doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
But there's protected lands, right? So there is places in the U.S. where there's protected lands. So like, no, this land is for Native Americans exclusively. And then there was some form of like reparations that they paid, in the sense of like, I don't know, like, if it's linked to the like them having casinos and whatever. But like they did try that, so I would want to look into, be like, okay, was there any form of success in what they did, and are Native Americans happy? Are they like, nah, this was nonsense? So I think that would be something worth looking into, to see with how far. But it's just the damage that has been done. Speaking specifically about the black community, it's bad. And I don't know if, and I don't even think, to be honest, if I'm to be cynical, I don't think they'd want to, just because the balance of power shifts, right? The more if you have someone that's under your thumb, right, who needs you. If I need Senna, and I can't do anything without Senna, right? I need to be on Senna's good side. If you then empower me, and then you say, right, chief, this is what we're going to be doing, or this is what you can do, then I think it gets very, very dangerous, very, very tricky.
Yeah, it can.
You
It
know,
can.
when you now have that power, because then what if you decide on a certain time, or if I decide, I'm like, yeah, you know what, Senna, I'm not actually keen on talking to you on Tuesdays. You can't
Mm,
stop it,
mm.
because answer
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So I feel like there is that fear of the unknown, of like, but what if, and again, there is obviously radicalist black individuals, right? But then I think there is that fear of like, oh yeah, but what if these guys are just moon, and then if we help empower them, it's like us signing our own warrants at the end of the day. You know what I mean? I think there is that fear of the unknown, where it's like there is
But
rage, but like,
they might
you don't know
rise
what
up.
would happen. Yeah, where it's like, nah,
Yeah,
they're
it's
like,
like
it's our turn type of thing.
when obviously the ANC came into power, ZANU PF coming into power, you had a lot of white immigration just because of fear of, these guys might do to us what we did to them. So
Yeah,
let's be
exactly.
out. You know what I mean? So there
I'm going
was,
to Australia.
yeah, I'm going to Australia. No, because below or Anarchy and Anne Marie. But for the rest, they stayed because there was like, hey, it's uncertain, but let's see. And it's been pretty
Yeah,
peaceful since then.
yeah, because again, has the dynamic of power really shifted? And even at that, like, if you've given up quote unquote power, right? If you're still in power of the wealth,
Yeah,
especially in South
that's
Africa,
yeah.
I was like, I'm all right. I'm comfortable.
I'm okay. I can
It's,
chill.
yeah, I'm okay. I'm not really that scared. That's the difficult thing about the situation. So I just think, hey, with the Cumberbatch thing, I'm not sure. I'll try and research it and keep up with it.
I don't
Maybe
think
they do
it'll
come up with
fly.
something that works, but yeah, it's just, yeah, no.
I
Gunzi.
don't
But
think it'll fly.
it's wild though, seeing what I did think about, because they cited another famous celebrity who
Mm,
also made, like, their family fortune is based off of slave trade. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like,
okay.
because obviously when I first learned about Benedict Cumberbatch, I was watching the Sherlock series on Netflix, right? So my
Yeah.
thing is just kind of like, oh, okay, this is just a talented actor from the UK who, worked hard and now he's a millionaire, right? He's a great actor. That's kind
Mm.
of all I ever thought about him. But then now this it kind of for anyone who doesn't understand what white privilege would be and why some people are so mad about it. It's like this is why people are mad because now because of that family fortune, he had time to get those extra lessons and go to the best, art schools or whatever it
Yes.
is that he might have
Exactly.
done in that career that has now led him. And he could be also justified as saying, no, but me, I worked hard. Yes, you did work hard.
But the
Absolutely.
privilege is there, right? So you were
Yeah,
standing
the,
on the
the
shoulders
privilege helped you
of
get there.
privilege.
Exactly. Exactly. So that I think that I was like, you know what, that is the perfect example when someone is trying to explain what privilege is. Which no, it's not just your hard work, but the fact that hey, bruh, your ancestors put in the work and look at where you are now, and it has a
Or put
significant
in the
impact
work.
because you no, like honestly, bro, like it's crazy how some of these things kind of like connect, and I kind of sat back and I was like, damn, yeah, good tense.
What a difficult.
What a difficult. But that's is ukuthi Benedict uhamba njani with his
I wonder what
situation.
he'll do at the end of it all.
Yeah, no, that definitely is definitely worth looking into. But on to into the local version of the news, which is obviously on Twitter. It always just goes down on Twitter. Twitter has been on like a mad thing. Like the last 2 days, I've been laughing, like crying in yembis. So essentially, let me even see where this started so that I can explain this properly, right? Who did I send it to? Right. So someone tweets out, this is the original thing, right? And this individual says, I hate that people think there's a universal Zimbabwean accent. I hate even more that they think it's that one. I'm like, all right, okay, cool. So it's an all right tweet, decent traction. You kind of like, yeah, okay, cool, right? And then someone quotes and then says that, but there's an underlying universal Zimbabwean accent. No matter where I am in the world, I always know a Zimba when they start speaking, regardless of where they came from in Zim or what their background is. All right, cool, decent
Mm-hmm.
interactions. You know, all right, nothing, wild, right? So I'm thinking, okay, people are being normal. And
Mm-hmm.
then I think this is the one. Yeah, I know this is the one. So then this individual. So again, another, they suspect is a Matland resident, but I don't know about it. But it's actually a Shona accent. The Shona accent is Gwash, and then yeah, guys, we'll circle back to the word Gwash. And then he puts in brackets, being Gwash is okay. I'm friends with Gwash people. Come on, guys. And then he says compared to the Ndebele accent, right? So
Yeah.
obviously, to have people understand the severity of the situation, this tweet is currently standing on 11 retweets, right? Okay, fair.
All
34
right. So
likes.
these are just
Now,
people
okay,
who've just
modest.
shared it.
Yeah, just kind of liked and retweeted, right? They liked the thing, they retweeted the thing. And then 187 quotes. So clearly people had opinions. And usually when you see that, the typical ratio of any tweets that blow up is kind of, you can say 187 just retweets and like 11 quotes. That's like the typical ratio of
Yeah.
people, the quotes is not that many people who actually like, no, I want to,
Yeah.
let get my opinion off on this particular, piece of media.
Yeah.
So in
And
this the
there's and
opposite
there's
way,
usually there's
someone's
usually
getting
meaning
cooked.
behind those things. As I'm saying, there's usually meaning behind each of those activities, right? So a retweet is more like, I may agree with this. I think it's funny.
Yeah,
I want everyone else to see
yeah,
it. Sharp. A like is more
yeah,
like, ha ha ha. I think it's funny. I like this tweet, keep going. Comments is usually people who agree with you or want to engage with you.
Yeah.
In a, I agree with you, I may disagree with you, but let's just exchange views.
Now, I mean,
The
comments can
quoted
get
tweet
wild too.
section,
I think quoted and comments are very, but then it's less so.
I think they're
I
very
think yeah,
different.
I'm seeing the same type
I've,
of
I've,
people, bro.
I've
Because I'm seeing
always,
supporters in the quotes as well.
I don't know, really. What I've found is the comment section is usually mild, right? In terms of people will agree with you, they'll disagree with you, they'll ha ha ha, they'll laugh. And then the quoted tweets is outrage, right? That's usually where people are cooking you. So by quoted tweets, it literally means someone is commenting on top of your tweet with their own opinion.
Yeah,
And the
yeah,
reason why they do that is because they want people on, their timeline and people who follow them to see this and also give their 2 cents about it. So
yeah,
that ratio that you've described, Mr. Maps, means almost 200 people had a bit to say.
yeah, yeah. It was that. It was that moving. It was that moving of a tweet. But I mean, before we even get too deep into it, my question to you is: do you think that there is a universal Zim accent?
There's no universal Zim accents, but there are Zim accents, right? So
Hundred
when
percent
someone
agree.
speaks on the news, right? And I've seen this whenever they're interviewing people in like Bridge or Musina or during xenophobic times, or even a random person on TV, right, on SABC. And I'm like, that one is Ndebele from Matabeleland. I know that accent, that one. Like
Yeah,
there's a couple of words that will just sell you out, like
yeah, absolutely.
leaky and and all those things,
But
Berkeley. There's a couple of words which, regardless of where you are as a Ndebele from Matabeleland, they will come out, right?
yeah,
Unfortunately, it may not even be
yeah,
specific words, but it might just be
the
the
way you
way
say
in
it.
which certain words come out. Like I
Yeah,
think as Zimbabweans have a fairly hard tongue, and even if you're in South Africa trying to pretend or pose or assimilate as a Zulu or Xhosa person, at some point that there'll be that odd Ndebele word where the tongue is hard and it'll come out.
yeah. I mean, hey,
And
but
then
there's someone who've assimilated. And I'm like, bro, this is
yeah, no, of course,
immaculate. I'm
yeah,
like, listen,
of course,
I
of
could
course.
never tell. It's top notch. But I mean, I do
It's
agree with
next
you
level.
110%. Oti, there's multiple Zim accents, and I think that's where people now
Yes.
started, where people were keeping up. Hey, Iguti, there is a Zim accent where you're pretending. I'm like, no, 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 no. Like,
Yeah.
I
So
think the delivery there, right? The delivery was off in terms of what this individual said, and then he made it. The problem was one, Pokamashon, never do that. That's where it was like there. I was like
yeah.
chief, yeah, yeah. He was Jon Snow and Amashona were the Boltons, and it was peak. No, nobody's jumping in on that, bro.
The first tweet isn't bad, right? So the first tweet, if I'm not mistaken, from what you said, was the person said, I hate that it's that accent. I hate how everyone thinks there's a Zim accent and they hate that it's that accent, which comes across to
Yeah,
me as, okay, you understand that there may be other Zim accents. You just don't like that it's the, and I'll put it very plainly, it's the Shona accent, right?
yeah.
The because and against, there's that one, right? So I don't know why you're laughing.
Oh man.
So there's
I know me. I'm just
whereas they
allow
have
me to laugh. Is it?
so there's that accent.
Yeah.
I don't know why you keep laughing.
I know.
Okay, so
Bro,
there's
continue. Me, I'm listening. Is it?
okay, yeah. So there's that accent, which is the
Yeah.
popular, unfortunately, because of numbers, obviously. Those
Yes.
that's the majority of Zimbabwean, and people who are from other countries. I think they're entitled to believe Guti that is a Zimbabwean accent. Unfortunately, they're not
Yes.
exposed to the other nuances that
Yeah.
we might be aware of. Someone from Matebeleland would know Guti. Okay, no. When someone says Bokil or Likil, just know
Yeah.
Guti, it's that side of Zimbabwe. And when someone says Botro or Against or all those things, then they're from another part of Zim. Now, I have no issues with people identifying an accent. What this person, I think, was trying to convey, ukuthi, ish, sibanengi, don't just assume
Yeah.
ukuthi, by virtue of ukuthi I'm Zimbabwean, all of a sudden I must speak in Agenest and Botro
It's
and all these
it's it's
things
it's
and,
it's
and,
it's
and
a, it's a
right? I
derivative
think
of the
that's what
same
they were
source,
saying.
which is don't assume I speak Shona, right? It's the derivative of the same
Yes,
source
yes.
at the end of
It
the
is
day.
literally there. Now, this one was just looking for a fight, to be honest. Um, the next man's was looking for smoke, because, of course, because they brought the word they brought the word gwash into it,
Yeah.
and they made it seem
Now
as
you've
if,
they've triggered too many
yes.
people there. Yeah.
So now you're saying, Uguti, not only is there different Zimbabwean accents, but there's one that is gwash, and it's that one that
Yes.
is gwash. That's wrong. Shouldn't do that. And
But I mean, you know what? Can I just say, in his
yeah,
not complete defense, semi defense, right?
mm,
I assume this is someone who he went to school in Zim, right? Probably even a private school, because that's typically where the word gwash was used like all the time, right? And it would just be, I don't know how many times I've heard someone being called gwash. I've been called like there's something I would have done like, oh, stop being gwash, you know what I mean? Like we
yeah,
didn't even think twice about it, right? So like it exists. We know there's a classism issue in Zim. We know that it's there, right? The whole public school, private school
yeah,
thing. We've been there a million times. So my thing is like
yes,
where you've gone wrong is that one, you've used the word gwash. Two, you've said
yeah,
gwash belongs to what? To the Shona accent. Where it's like, okay, fine, you can say that, but at the same time, that's because if you're in Ndebele, you're not really exposed to that, right? So for you, if someone has a
mm,
heavy accent and they're Shona and they're trying to speak English, then okay, fine, it comes off as gwash. But at the same in the same vein, I would argue that I'm sure there's Shona people who will meet Ndebele who struggles with English and be like, yo, that shit sounds gwash. Because if we're being honest, if you look at like look, is it at random examples, just so that people don't feel like I'm taking sides, right? What's this chick? You know that chick on the internet, South African Dage. She makes fun of like I assume it was like her dad growing up, right? In terms of how he would lecture her and shit like that. The one who released that video that got her popular way back. The 12 packs Havana, blah blah blah. Like he doesn't speak English properly, like on purpose, right? You've seen that chick. It's like her name is like Farida or something like that.
I'm Kumbut.
Something along those lines. But anyway, so
Maybe I missed
she's
that.
done these videos which have been turned into TikToks, right? Of the dad lecturing her,
Mm-hmm.
saying the normal, hey, yeah, noise maker, you're always in class, yeah, pepper, pepper. Like the way that the dad is speaking, it's like it's a Gwash accent,
Yeah.
right? Because obviously the dad is not a fluent English speaker. It's Gwash, no, it is, but it just
Yeah.
it is, right? But like that's
Irrespective of the
because you
language and the tribe with which they come from.
yeah, exactly. It can be like I think people are taking certain people are taking the gwash word like it's not that deep. I promise you, at least from my end, gwash has never been a deep. So like some chick quoted and was like, calling someone gwash is the equivalent of using nigger with the er. I'm like, excuse me, nigger with the
No,
er is
I
wild, bro.
no,
Like the
that is wild.
connotations
I
there,
would,
and I'm just like, guys, like, come on, like let's bring shit down because again, if you ask honestly, Senna, if you ask private school people,
yeah,
if you ask like, individuals, I don't know, and again, I don't know any everybody's experience. But I don't think there's people. If you had gone to a private school where it was like, bruh, if someone calls you Gwash, it was the worst thing in the world. Like it was like, that was like a mark on you or whatever. I didn't see that. Like people, like I said, I've been called Gwash before, and you let it go, you move on. It was whatever. Like someone made fun of you. It was a word that we used, but you move on, right? Like there's like gwash is like, yeah, sure, you can, it's like calling someone ghetto, right? It is the equivalent of calling someone
it
ghetto,
is the
right?
equivalent of
Or like
calling someone
whatever.
ghetto.
It literally is. So if someone, whatever, you be
Mm.
like, jeez, that's ghetto, because everyone's on the internet, or like, hey, Brad, it's giving ghetto, or like, hey, that's some ghetto shit. You might as well use gwash in the same
Ratatata.
sentence. Strategy. So I think there was the problem, and the people that piss me off on Twitter are the ones who they want to virtue signal, right? And oh my
Yes.
god, you why are you being you're so weird. You're so weird for using that word. I'm like, nigga, my god, like get over it. Like that shit pisses me off. It's like,
As
bro, let's move on.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not that deep. The guy is offside for making it a tribal thing, right? Because again, if it's I just think it's a lack of knowledge. I can feel like if you're like, yeah, pick which one is more Gwash, I might be like, yeah, the Shona accent is Gwash, right? But that's just my view because I didn't grow up knowing it the whole time, right? And like for me,
Yeah.
there could be a question. They be and again, I'm shallow. There's and they really had no way to Gwash accent. I was like, nah, they just it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work, bro. Like it's just it's just sorry. Yeah, it happens, and that just means people are shallow, right? We're all
Uh,
shallow to a certain extent. But then the problem was that he just made it a tribal thing, and it's like when you make it a tribal thing, people catch feelings, and then you also
yeah.
insulted the people who were pressed about the whole public school private school conversation. So them niggas were like roped into it, and now they feel like they need to say something, and like it's just like guys, like can they just can you like imagine if that guy tweeted that and people did nothing,
Yeah.
just not maybe his friends came laughed at it or whatever, but just people did nothing, bro. Like leave, it's just like But anyway, it is what it is, bro. Like
Um, with regards to use of the word gwash, I'd probably also equate it, flip to the other side, calling people musalati or a cheese boy. You get what I mean, right? I think our very first episode were like, no, let's turn the term cheese boy into like an endearing term, right? There's no need,
yeah,
because I think growing up, you grow up sort of being ashamed of, oh, people called me, people think I'm a msalati, people think I'm a
bro.
cheese
You go
boy,
to
and
you
whatever and
go and
whatever.
visit your relatives, Emma Kaya or Emma Logichin, and they'll be like, hey, yeah, now I'm sad at you, and it's like I
Jokes will be
actually felt
flying,
bad
bro.
about that shit, bro. I actually felt
Yeah,
bad
and then
about
with
that shit.
time,
It's like,
you're
hey,
like, ah, okay, cool. Let's use it positively. I don't think it's similar to being called a nigger with the ER. I think that's
nah, that's
taking
way
it
too
too
far, bro.
far. And I think there's been a
That's
lot of,
just being traumatic.
and I think what I said to you when people were busy commenting and tweeting all sorts of outrage and whatever, I said I think a lot of these have been in drafts, and people have had this sort of like, I want to let this out. I want to let this thought out. I'm just
I
waiting for
just
the
need
right
a
opportunity.
highway.
And that tweet just became the highway for people to blah 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 and
Yeah,
and unload. Unfortunately, I don't know the origins of the word gouache, guys. If you people know, because I think it comes from I'd assume Harare schools, but I'm not too
I
sure.
don't even think so, bro. I
I'm
don't
not
even
sure. I
like,
think
and
it
again,
might.
the thing is with this, the way nobody really knows the way some of these slang words originated, because like there's certain words that we used, and like some of my friends from H Town schools they don't use it, and vice versa. So like I don't know what did it start from us? Did it go to them or vice? Like who knows, right? But again, the whole point is that it was used, and it really wasn't that deep, Like it's and my thing, my biggest complaint with the people that are gonna want to, you know, for lack of a better term, embarrass this individual on Twitter, right? And try to virtue signal and that shit is that all you want to do is just emasculate him, right? Ebantu. That's really all you want to do. And where's the teaching moment? Right? Where's the kind of like, hey, bruh, okay, this is what you've said is foul, for X reasons, like, kindly delete your tweet or whatever it is. But like, you want to be edgy, hey,
Yeah.
bruh, delete this. I'm like, bro, you really think Umuntu, you like, the fuck, you could come to me to tell me to make, yeah, remove this. I'm like, yeah, we're shying in Palma, bro. Like, it's like, there's a certain energy, there's a certain tenor, there's a certain way to approach a situation if you're trying to diffuse it. And I do not believe, like you cannot pay me money to believe that these people are trying to diffuse a situation, and these people are trying to, like, you're almost as bad as the person who tweeted it in my eyes, because you're not helping the situation. Yes, that individual is wrong, right? They can be wrong, but like, if you're not trying to help the situation, The fuck are you doing in the comments, bruh? Like, why are you trying to like you want
Yeah,
us to give you a cookie that you think the word gwash shouldn't be used and it's like demeaning to baniban and baniban, bro? Shut
yeah,
up. Like it's like nah. Like do something actually to positively impact that individual, or at least try to do that, right? Try to
yeah.
DM them or even leave it
Well,
as a
I
comment like,
don't.
yo, listen, da 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 da, and move on with your life. If you're that
Yeah,
pressed, try to effect positive change. But why are you trying to flag? It's like imagine Senna, there's a car accident, right? On the road. And
mm,
then I then pull up, let's say I was behind the accident and then I pull over and
yeah,
then now I'm literally on the road with oncoming traffic and I'm waving. I'm like, guys, it's an accident. It's an accident. This guy
yeah,
was going with 180. Guys, it's an accident. You know what I mean? Like, nigga, help the
yeah,
people if they can be helped, right? And don't be out here trying to
yeah,
signal for attention. Ukuthi, yeah, really, what was he doing? Is why look, he doesn't have a license, or hey, why do
yeah,
people do this? Why do people try to overtake on a 2-lane road? Like, that's not the point right now. The
yeah.
point is the man tried to
Do you know what's
overtake,
funny,
he's
right?
overturned. Are you gonna help or not?
What would you do? And what would, I guess, if you're one of those people that commented on the Gwash tweet, what would you do if you found out that that tweet was put out by a 14-year-old boy sitting in his mother's house full of shits and no, I'm curious.
No, me personally, I'd laugh.
Because I think I
My
think you'd I
honest
think you'll
reaction
find,
would be to laugh.
yeah, because you'll find, Witty, you're unpacking a lot of big high level conversation on a tweet which was probably banter from a teenager. Or
Yeah,
I'm 14 was really me pushing it. It could be a 19-year-old, because I don't think at 19 you are in
no,
any
but
way
even it could be 14, bro. It could be
mature.
14 has a phone, and then imagine all of those quoted tweets. He's popping them in his group chat with his friends and laughing like, look at these
And
idiots.
they're
They're so
laughing, bro.
vexed.
Look at what these aunties are saying. Now,
Sit
one of
aunties.
the big sense, because I've seen some of those people were commenting are aunties for real, dog. Some of the sentiment that came out of that was, I don't know, maybe it's as a result of an insecurity and having to
It
fight
always
against
is.
all odds, which I guess is inspirational. Big ups to you if you've had to battle against struggle, poverty to become the best in life. But people then started talking about their achievements and the achievements of similar people who
Yeah, I
have
saw that.
strong
I saw
accents.
that.
Like, it became a moment to be like, no, some of us, even with our accents, we're going further than people who speak in a fanciful way.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
Like, big ups for you. Simshaileni Zandla. Um, but, but that wasn't what it was about, right? I feel
No,
like if it's a sore point growing up, then I think that's something that maybe it needs to be addressed somewhat. Which, yeah, growing up I felt this way and that way and that way. And now I'm successful. I can't. I feel like this negative tag still follows, people like me and all these things. Then that might be something which perhaps can be framed under a different conversation, where we can be like,
but Senna,
okay, no, yeah,
you know what? And this is how fickle some of these people are. And bro, when I tell you that, it really vexes me because it's like, yes, you're being so fake, and I'm like, bro, you don't fucking care. Because if you recontextualize the conversation, right, and you shift it, let's shift it to the west of our mother continent, right, West Africa. Specifically, let me just
mm,
talk about Nigerians specifically, right? But Ghanaians, same thing. It's the same exact
mm,
concept. So people are vexed about being called Gwash, right? And hey, we mustn't do this. Hey, what
mm,
tin. Same people, but the same days, the same hands, same aunties, right? They are busy hlekelelane, right? I'm a West African when they speak pidgin, right? Whereas
mm,
like, oh my god, I'm
yeah,
dying to learn how to speak pidgin. And to me, pidgin is gouache, bro. Like you can't tell me, like you can't convince me pidgin is not gouache. Like it's gouache. To me, it
yeah,
is, right? But hey,
yeah.
it is what it is. Whatever, who cares, right?
Uh,
But the same individuals is like now you have the same hand who's out here if they're on the side of calling people gouache. The same hand is busy tweeting in speech, with yeah, with the choke money, blah blah blah, all this other shit. It's like, bro, like, how can you be calling someone Gwash here, but then at the same time, you're trying to learn your best Gwash language, right? You're actively
Yeah.
searching for Ngis who speak pidgin because they've got the paper, right? They got the money. So it's like, that's what I'm like, bro. So it's so fickle. Some of these things are just so fickle because it's like we just want to fight amongst each
Oh
other
well, I guess it's
in me's or
well that
whatever,
that part is
and
self hate,
then
right?
you know, but even with the whole self hate thing, it's like, bro, like I don't know. I really am. There's just so many things on me. Like, guys, we don't have to fight about this. We don't have to be emotional.
Before we
Just
move on
move
from this topic,
forward.
I must ask your views. So your alma mater was brought into it, Mr. Maps.
Go. Oh yeah. Hey, bro. No, she was vexed with a capital V.
Your
Yay,
alma
yay,
mater was
yay,
brought into
yay.
it. Obviously, someone, people, and that's the thing with tweets, right? Even if you don't tag a person from CBC in a tweet, someone somewhere will see it, send it, and then before you know it, the whole of all the ex CBC guys groups have been sent the tweet, and they're now like, guys, don't tag us here.
She put a year, dog. She put a year to that ad. I was like,
To be specific.
do you want to read the tweet for context sake?
Nah, no, it's fine. Ugh, I'd have to find it.
No,
Give me a
read
second.
the. No, it's fine. I have it. It's close by.
Okay, read it.
Fuck. Who did I send it to?
Oh, here we go.
Wait, where
I
did you
found
see
it.
it?
I found it. DMs. I had to go to
Okay.
my DMs. My problem is you never hear the French, Italians, Russians mocking their own accents. They speak
Oh yeah,
English through
which
their
is
accents and
also
they are not
untrue.
gouache. That's not true because I know for a fact that in England, if you speak with a Scouse accent from Liverpool, people are always going to call you a Scouser and they'll make fun of you. There's songs. It's terrible. But anyways, that aside.
I think if you're from the north of England, they consider, because like my old boss was from Newcastle, and she was like, yeah, I know people
Yeah,
would hear me talking, they just think I'm
they
gay.
they have a
Like that
strong
was,
Geordie
yeah,
accent. Yeah.
no, exactly, Geordie accents, like they're always associated with a lack of intelligence. So again, wrong. But anyway, go on, Mr. Boy.
In brackets, fuck out of here with your 2011 CBC slang. As Zimbabweans, we have internalized hatred and we won't go forward. Um, Look, we may have, I think we might have like internalized hatred in some instances. I don't know. Um, do people look down on you when you speak a particular accent? I don't think so. Um, I think that person was literally just trolling, as they were saying. No one has advocated for changing your accent when you go somewhere. No one looks down on you when you speak a particular way. Sibatala, I think when you're grown up and I see you speaking, with your againist and your wildest and all these things, dude, I'm not going to respect you any less. And I think no one is going to respect you any less unless growing up, maybe you felt some type of way about it, right?
Yeah. And
Um,
even with the whole accent thing, like I know I've seen a bunch of like YouTube videos, shows. I have buddies who make fun of Italian accents or French accents when they say certain words a certain
yeah,
way.
no, that
Even
that
the German
happens
accent,
all the time.
people make fun of the German accent all the time in terms of how it's so aggressive, and the Russian accent. Like, it's like we have accents, right? And
Trevor Noah's made a
again,
career
we're
out of
not,
it.
come on, like it's things that happen. Russell Peters, the same thing with when he does South Asian, or yeah, Southeast Asian countries, or well, my God, South Asian countries. Anyway, India, Pakistan, them that region, he makes fun of them a lot, and
Yeah.
based on accents. And it's like, guys, oh, when my thing where I kind of just sit back and I laugh, and I'm like, when people try to make it a unique, I don't think there's that many in terms of some of these social arguments people have over and over again.
It's
It
not
is
unique to
not a
Zimbabwe.
Zim problem. It's not. It's not. It's not brand
It's
new.
not
It's
unique to
like,
Zimbabwe.
hey, it's Zimbabweans. Yeah, and I'm like, Chief, this shit is everywhere in the world, right? And it's like, once you realize that it's everywhere in the world, then you can also take another step forward and be like, all right, cool. In our region, what can be done, right? To kind of sidestep that, or is there a region in the world that has been able to move past it? Or my conclusion, which is no, we're not gonna move past that shit because the rest of the world hasn't moved past that shit, and that's just the way society is. It's sad, it's unfortunate, but hey,
Yes.
bruh, it's everywhere. That's you can come
Yes.
to that realization. But when people just
100%.
try to, that's why I'm like, this is really virtue signaling, bruh. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
bruh,
like I
hey,
said, I mean, it's like you
hi,
said,
hi.
the word gouache is really not that deep. I don't think
It's
it's
no,
it's that
it
deep. But in
honestly
any
is not.
event, um, what caught people's attention was fuck out of here with your CBC slang. Um, I don't know why CBC slang is in it. I don't know if the person who said this, the word gouache is from CBC or had anything to do with CBC.
But you know what? I think CBC dies for a lot of other people, bro. I think
Right?
we
Because the
literally are always
slang,
like
the
I'm
slang
convinced
didn't.
these are falconers. I'm convinced falconers are some of the worst human beings in the world I've ever met.
Because the
When I
slang
tell you
didn't
people
originate.
mentally are not okay, bruh. Hang out with some of your friends from Budgie. I'm like, no, here's a massive problem. Go see a therapist.
But for example, right, the slang didn't originate from CBC at all. I mean, it's a combination of many Zim schools. It probably predates us. I don't think anyone at CBC has ever said that they were the originator of words like dages and zoom and
I'm
flipping
sure there's
words.
people that claim actually. I would no. Don't discount CBC. I think
I
I think
think
we've
there's
got
a,
some bangers in the portfolio. I really do
of
think
course,
that.
in the portfolio, but it's not like we have the
Yeah.
whole portfolio. It's not like it's specific to one school, right? There's many schools in Zimbabwe that took different words and they used them in different ways, and so forth and so forth. This particular tweet, that point of it made it seem like it has an owner, just because it's very specific in the year and the school, and I'm like, okay, who were
No,
you
no, no,
dealing
no.
with?
That one is very simple. No, that one is very, very simple. She's hurt by someone from CBC in the 2011 year. That one is very, very simple. I'm pretty sure they've even identified Utumba. There's someone who's claiming that
Themselves.
in a group chat now. No, this one showed the flames, bruh, a couple years ago. That's the only way. That's the only way. Or because, those other specifics were not necessary. But
Yeah,
also ungene
yeah,
heart.
yeah,
Now getting a heart really it's just I already know you've showed your cards.
because there's no
You've
way,
showed your
bro.
cards. Now getting
There's
at
there's no
it's like
way that tweet,
hey.
and that's what I'm saying, right? That's where I come back to with some things are sitting in drafts, and people are just
Yeah.
waiting to air out some shit.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to them, I do have memes that are saved in drafts where I'm like, you know what? There's gonna come a day where I can unleash this item. So I do understand, but again,
There's gonna come a day
I'm
when
on
I'm
socials for
gonna unleash
jokes.
this item, and then some convent hand is going
Yeah,
to see that I said shit.
it's like there's always that one picture, there's that one video where you're like, yeah, no, this one is gonna work, and it's like, and for me, I'm like, that's the more fun part of life. You know what I mean? Like rather than again, people like, coming to socials to fight. I could never. Even if some shit is offside, I don't let that shit affect
Yeah,
me, bro, because it's just there's no and I always say this to my wife. Like it's just I would not feel okay personally letting a stranger know that their words have power over me. Right? They've got the
yeah.
power to ruin my day. No ways. I cannot give you that acknowledgement to yeah, hey, bruh, hey, Tabo was vexed. It's like, hey, look at this Ngi was out here typing parrot. Nah. Where I have lost the plot. If people, there's always those people wonder, hey, is this you, this you? Yes, if you pull up some of my football debates, I have gotten emotional on Twitter. Absolutely. Sports do get me emotional. But other than that, I ogunye loku, this is quote unquote serious. Because one, like you said, imagine going back and forth, and it's a child, bro. I have little cousins.
Yeah.
Them niggas are annoying as fuck. Imagine if one of them is on Twitter just out here with Tetisa and Labantu. And it's like, I would feel so embarrassed, going back and forth writing paragraphs for someone who's in Form 1. Like, no. There's no way, bro. Like, if there was a verification, so there's certain people where I like, okay, let me give an intelligent response because I know who you are. Then, okay,
Yes.
cool. There's no
Yes.
issues. But when it comes to strangers, no, because some of you, half you niggas have like emojis or memes as your pictures, so we can't even, and other people, like, you look old, but then it's just you aged wrong, but it turns out you're 21, so it's
You
like
aged
then
wrong.
like you just it's just so many variables, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm not really in the mood for all of this work, because real
Yeah.
life for me is already hard. I've got responsibilities, I've got shit to do, right? There's no way I'm going to come on social media and then come and fight again. Sincenga impilo, siphinde sincenga la- ay, ay,
Kuningi.
ay. What was esingabaziyo? No. Miss me with that. Now that's squash behavior. That ain't right, bro. Like, find peace. There should be time where it's just peace, happiness, and you move on. Maybe some people have
And
things
you
easy in their lives, and they want to come and cause chaos in social media because they need a little, pizzazz for the day. But me, I'm not that guy, bro. I've got no time for it. I really do not. Like, niggas see you on social media. Me, if I see you fighting on social media, saying, uhleka mina, uhleka, like, nah, like, what are you doing? I've had some people where I had to DM and be like, bruh, do you know that this is public? It's like, yo, what are you doing?
Do you
It's
know
like
that, hey,
six, seven
chief, we can
tweets
all
back
see
and
this?
forth. Like, yeah, it's like, chief, bro, put your panties back on, dog. Like, what are you doing? Nah, be serious. But anyway, so anyway, yeah, anyone who's touched by the whole Gwash thing, like, just it's okay. Like, it's not.
It's not that deep.
Don't allow it to have power over you. Please don't allow it to
Also, can I
ruin
just
your
ask a
day.
question, right? Just
To
a question.
better.
When last did you actually hear the word gouache outside of this weekend, this tweet?
Man, it's been a while.
Right?
It's been, yeah, I know, it's been a minute. I remember when I saw this tweet for the first time, I did laugh out loud because I'm like, I know, Gwash is a banger.
Like no one's actually
You
using
know?
that word in 2023. Well, at least in my
No, I
circles
mean,
or
to be
anyone that I
fair,
follow on
they
social
are
media.
the Miz slang that we had. I do think it is what is it called? There's a term when you have like a really old building that there's historical significance. There we go. When it comes to that reverse English that we had, I think that is something that no one will ever tell me to know that shit was ridiculous. There's no other society that I know where niggas just did this on the fly and it stuck and people understood each other. So you can't poo poo that. You can't tell me you
Yeah.
poo poo that shit. The only people that poo poo it were the ones that weren't in the club. Those are the people who can see. Going, just say you didn't understand. Just admit, and then we can move forward. Those are the people who make the most. Just you were on the outside. You wish you could have spoken the language, but it skipped you. It's okay. It's okay. Get to that. But I do think there's historical significance. So like there's certain words where
Yeah.
I hadn't said yep yep for a long, long time, right? For years, right? And then someone said yep yep. And I was like, damn, bro, yep yep is a banger. Fuck. So I say yep yep from time to time, right? It's like it's making the rounds. Because it's like there's certain words like, bro, this is a banger, bro. Like that's just so there's certain items like grenade. I think grenade should die. Because I think grenade is too much. Grenade is rude.
Grenade
So
is
it's like grenade. No, yeah, grenade. I think that one needs to be laid to rest, right? So there is certain words I'm like, okay, this one, there's no need. That one can stay in drafts by the hard way. Yape, come on, Gwash. No, those ones are like come off some of the and what I love about it is like everyone in Miz knows. That's the thing. That's like that's the funny part. We barely spent any time in Mashonaland, right? But if I meet
Yeah.
someone who went to school in Mashonaland and I say Gwash, she knows exactly what I mean. That's cool, bro.
100%.
That's actually like dope. Yeah. Bro, there was a time in Zim though. I don't know this guy, but he kept it annoyed the fuck out of me because I thought it was whack. But he kept saying, bruh, me, I've got too much grass, bro. Me, my grass is on levels.
Swag.
This is 2017, 18, somewhere there. And like for me, it just wasn't clicking for some reason. I'm like, what the fuck is Gwash? And then they hit me like 10 minutes later after I'd left the dude. And I'm like, oh my God, swag. Because also swag is another word that's kind of died in our vocab, right?
Yeah,
So for
yeah. I
me,
mean that
Gwash, I'm
that
like,
died with
bro, how
Soldier
are you
Boy's
going
career.
around saying I've got Gwash? Yeah, that was the Social Boy era. That was the swag era. So it's like, if you're there, I've got Gwash. I'm like, bro, it's just like, no. This one needs to go. This one needs to get out. So I think Gwash is whack. That also needs to be packed away. It's just too much. It's too much. And funny thing is, when he was saying it, there was Hans that was feeling it. There was Hans was and I'm like, oh my God, how is this working? But guess what? Uchomo Kona, Falcon Old Boy. I can't make this shit up, bro. Those niggas at Baji,
Can't.
it must have been the water or something. Abakwana. Wonk. None of them niggas are okay. They're not. Like but credit to them when they are in society with other non-Miz people or people that didn't know that culture, you could never tell. They are upstanding citizens. But let the Baji owns just get together. Yee! Ay, 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 ay. Like even future levels of toxic don't even reach. Like when they're together,
It doesn't figure.
nah, fam. Nah. I literally had to take a seat and be like, rah,
Whoa.
this shit is mad.
You're wild.
I'm like, nah, you boys is wild for real, bro. And the thing doesn't die, bro. Like this was me in New York, and I'm seeing all of this, bro. And I'm like, this thing traveled overseas, bro, and it's stronger than ever.
Yeah, you can't change mentality.
Nah, you can't. You can't, unfortunately. Unfortunately. But anyway, let me see what's here. Oh yeah, this was fun. Someone tweeted. Let me see if I can find that tweet. So there's this guy who does these tech videos. It's like I think his name is like Marquise Brownlee. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
No.
So yeah, he
Numbers,
reviews
numbers.
he review the latest iPhone, latest tech, laptops, all that shit, right? So he's just a tech guy. So I watch his reviews if I'm thinking about buying something. But he tweeted, my litmus test for whether or not a stranger is a good person is number one, they put the shopping cart back where it belongs, and number two, and this is what I really wanted to focus on, they stand a few feet back from the airport baggage claim until they can see their bag, instead of cutting in front of people and blocking everyone's view for no reason. So and
Yes.
then so I got this off of Haxo's status. So he added his own, and it was like also if they stay seated when the plane lands. So my thing
Yes.
was what are some of your biggest airport annoyances that people do that you're just kind of like, bruh, like what the fuck?
First being that one actually, when the plane lands, like guys, stay seated. So if you're
Yeah,
fortunate
tuck
enough to
in.
travel during COVID times, they actually enforced a row by row
Or
thing.
the row by row item. Yeah.
Was perfect, dude. Like you just stayed seated, and then row by row, abantu were let out. That was brilliant. So
I
that
think
was
they should
during.
keep bring it back, bro.
Have they stopped? I don't think I've flown post.
Yeah, I think
Did
so.
I? Oh,
I think so.
have I? Okay, but yeah,
Well, I don't think they ever
the,
did it on Emirates, but I know when I was flying locally in SA, I was surprised. I was like, oh,
yeah,
okay,
no, it was a
cool.
thing,
That makes sense.
line by line. I think they maintained it because I think as early as Feb last year, that was probably the last time I flew. Yeah, they maintained it, and then obviously yes, the baggage claim when you're getting onto the flight, where you now have to go with the boarding passes. Like at airport, I see a queue at the airport, and I'm always surprised, right? Because it's not like the plane will. If you get on, we're all going onto the same plane. Like we're all going to be seated, right? So it's not like there's a.
They make it seem like you say ranking where it's the first 14 people into them
And
JJ and
then
then we're gone. You
and
know what I
then we're
mean?
gone,
If you're
right?
pressed for time,
Like
I understand why you're in the queue.
No, but I don't get it because it's literally we're all gonna go into the same plane, and then people will start squishing and getting into a queue, and it's a whole fuss. And I'm like, well, we're still gonna go into the thing. Like, just wait for the lady to come say, "Please show us your boarding passes. Let's go." That's one. Um, does it have to be restricted to just the airport? Can
I
be.
mean, if you want to add something in there, go for it.
I will add. Say your own, and then I'll think of a few. I'll think of a few.
So okay, what I was gonna say was the only thing that I can think of is if you're going into a relatively smallish plane and you would queue in front of the boarding gate is because you want to make sure that you've got space. Because I know people do put bags in random places sometimes on the overheads.
Okay.
That's the only thing I can sort of half semi justify people queuing. But what I love about Emirates is that so Emirates they have zones in the plane. I think from A to F, something along those lines. And
Yeah.
essentially Emirates loads the plane backwards, at least from what I've noticed. So if the last zone is zone F, they'll even if people are queuing, hey, what, they'll be like, okay, passengers only in zone F, kindly board the plane. Fantastic, because now everybody else is now if you're used to flying on Emirates, a lot more people are seated than are queued because all you just have to listen for or look out for on the screen is your zone number. So then at that point, it's like, okay, cool. I'm in zone F. I'm jumping into zone F. And it's so like nice because they're probably going in with maybe like 10, 15 other people. And it's like, cool. We're not fighting with like, I don't know, 200 other passengers of like, hey, what's going on? And blah, 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 blah. You know, it's just, there's no need
Yes.
for that line. But, and so I see that at DXB. But then what's funny is that when I'm like when I was boarding from I was boarding from Joburg, yeah, I was boarding from OR to Dubai, right? People formed this long ass line, and I'm like, what the fuck? What are you guys doing? So they were in the line, really waiting to board. And me, I sat there. I just sat in a random place, and I just sat down, and I was just listening to music, doing my thing. And then, yeah, the ladies, the locals, the air hostesses came up and like, right, guys, we're boarding zone C. Anyone in zone C, please come up. And lo and behold, I was zone C. Got up, showed her my boarding pass. He scanned the item. Sir, have a lovely trip. Bye bye. Sharp. And I thank you. And I left. And people were still in the line, bro. And I'm like, guys, like, there's no need. But I think the biggest frustration are the one like at the carousel. Why are you blocking the view? Your bag is not
Yeah.
there. Like, and then now there's always like these like smaller ladies and stuff like or smaller individuals who it's like they can't see, and then like maybe they see their bag and now they have to it's like, bro,
Yes.
move out of the way. I'm just happy that I'm tall because then I just look over people. But like if I wasn't tall, I'd be pissed. I'd be fuming because like why am I, hambang minyana labantu? It's like nah. And then obviously the people who's like stand up as soon as the plane lands. Again, there was a time I think I had landed in Lagos, and for whatever reason, they just weren't opening the doors. Like something was wrong outside, and or maybe I don't know, the locals in tunnel locals it might have not been connecting. One of those technical issues outside, and we chilled, like for a good 20-25 minutes, and people stood, bruh, stood, and I'm like, why? It
Akonit.
doesn't make any sense. I couldn't at all. It doesn't make any sense. So it's just one of those things where I'm like, guys, some of these airport things, let's leave it behind. And then also, well, I was gonna say you really should be checking in online at this point in 2023. I think you
100%.
should be checking in online. It saves you so much time. When I was flying to Lagos, there was I saw the queue and I was like, oh my god, like what the fuck? And then it just said check in, and then I saw the other side which said online check in. There was one person, and I was like, love it,
Yeah,
let's go.
Ogunye,
And I
Ogunye.
checked in online.
That's just
I was like, nah,
inconveniencing
if y'all
yourself for
wanna,
no reason.
if you want to be Gwash, Gwash people, they don't check in online. I'm joking, guys. I'm joking. Please, tell me that's kind
Hey,
of
he's not
but
joking.
yeah, no, please check in
Just
online,
send him the
guys.
think piece.
No, check in online. thing, and I said the thing. I read them to Kamu as for bedtime story. It's like Kamu. This one said, we'll laugh about it, we'll giggle. But yeah,
You
those
literally
are my
just
those are my
called
issues there.
people who don't check in online nigger with the ER. Tabo. Oh.
Yeah, no, some of you guys are dramatic.
Uh,
Like it's like some people. I think some people just do the tweet for shock value. Like they wanna, which tweet is gonna like have traction. All right, let me use the nigga. But yeah. This one is, and I'm like, guys, yeah.
I need to add
But you
something
never see
different
uns
that no one else
fighting
has said.
under the same people are not fighting under Jonathan Moyo's comments. You know what I mean? Like in all these other like important things. Why are you not there in those comments? You know what I mean? Like it's just I'd sooner respect you if I'm seeing you there in the political spaces and all that kind of shit. Hey, bro, at least you're zammering something is this. But
Yeah.
yeah, policing the word gwash, that can't be your calling. It can't be your calling.
Aye. But hey, anyways, I was trying to think of my little pet peeves and I can't think of them immediately. So I'll kick them once I remember them next week. Ngizakulokoza. Ngizakutshela.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Moy, you have on your list here Avatar. What about it? Did you see the new one?
I have seen the new one, but you haven't seen it, so I'm not sure
Yeah, I
how
haven't seen
much
it.
you can chat about it. But it's you know what, right? I actually enjoyed it.
You went and saw it in the cinema.
Yeah, I went to the cinema. I went to the cinema.
Did you like the first one?
I thought the first one was okay. So what I did is I watched the first one like that weekend, and then I went to watch the new one at the cinema as well. So it was pretty cool.
Didn't you feel like it was long?
It was 3 hours long. I didn't really
That's a span, bro.
feel it. Maybe the plot wasn't as strong, but it's I guess strong enough. But like from a visual and graphics point of view, it was really nice. I enjoyed it. I can't,
Yeah, I mean, I'm
and I'm
saving
not
it for when it comes to digital,
okay.
because I think I don't want to sit in the in the theater for that long for something that
Yeah.
I'm not that interested. So like my interest level is like a 6 on a scale of 10. So for that, I'm just waiting for it. Once it drops on like Disney Plus, which normally it's frustrating because normally Disney has been dropping their movies on Disney Plus after 45 days. But I don't think they're gonna do that with Avatar since it's making so much money in theaters. It's probably maybe like end of Feb, maybe they'll put
Okay.
it on Disney Plus. So whenever it drops, that's when I'll actually look in. I'll see it because also my TV is fire. So I'm like I want to see it on my couch where I can fall asleep and not be like ish. There's nothing worse than going to a mediocre movie and you're like ish. I have to sit here for how long?
Yeah, for a
I
while.
could be doing
But
so
I
many
I
other
don't think
things.
it's too bad. You know how I felt that way? That new Batman that I went to watch last year that you were raving about. I felt like that
Don't you say
when I went to
that.
watch Batman.
Nah.
Yo,
That Batman was excellent.
yo.
Excellent. You weren't paying
As
attention.
we
That's your
sat
problem.
we sat for 3 hours. I think at some point I was like, hey, Pelanin Lento. And
Nah,
the funny
man,
thing is,
Batman was
I
amazing.
hardly I hardly ever go to the bathroom during movies. On that day I was like, right, hi, that short left.
Nah, fam. Me, I sat through the whole thing. I was like, I even bought it on digital. Like it was
I'm
that
curious,
good.
did
It
did, did
was
your wife
that
enjoy
good.
Batman?
No, she didn't come. She was like, nope, miss me.
Okay.
And I'm
Okay.
glad she didn't because then she would have probably made us go home. So there's certain things where like if the thing with my wife is I check first, right? So I'll be like, okay, do you want to go see this movie? If she doesn't know the brand, then I'll make her watch one trailer, and then if she goes, okay, sharp, then we'll go. But if she's got so she
Okay.
I think she watched like 1 minute of the Batman trailer and she was like, nope, I'm good. So I was like, okay,
Yeah,
sharp.
no.
Me, I'll see you later.
She
So
saved herself.
yeah, no, she didn't say so. She missed out on a theatrical experience. I think Batman was definitely top five. It's just that obviously I don't like doing top whatever's for the year because I don't remember what movies I
Yeah.
saw. I'll need
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
list. But yeah, I think it's definitely top five. It was fantastic. I can't wait for the next one. And let's see. Ant-Man is coming up next month, so I'm gonna be looking out for that. And you know we'll go from
What
there.
else is coming up
But
in terms
real
of like
quick,
movies and stuff? Which are what one should look?
well, in terms of DC and Marvel, Ant-Man is coming out. Shazam's coming out.
I watched
Aquaman, I
Shazam.
believe, and The Flash.
Oh no, I
And
haven't watched
then
Shazam.
what other
Sorry.
Marvel movies are coming out? Oh, you should watch Shazam. It's nice. It's
No.
comedic.
Okay.
It's cool. I think you'd
Okay.
like it. There's a Marvel movie that's coming out this year. I think the Marvel movie is coming out this year kind of a low key weak. I think there's better Marvel TV shows coming out this year,
Okay.
but I don't think there's
It's
anything
Fast 10
real
coming
good.
out this year.
Yeah, let it die, please. I'm a supporter, but it's okay. The last one that they like nine, nah.
Yeah.
I remember being in the theater. I went with Sean, and yeah, we both struggled. we both struggled. So it was
I'm
one of
going
those
to
things
keep
like you enjoy
preaching the
it the
gospel.
first time, like in terms of the first time you watch it. But I think I was upset when I
Yeah.
left the movie theater. I was like,
I've
you know
I've
what?
never
That
rewatched it
wasn't worth
actually.
it.
That's the interesting because usually with Fast and
I
Furious
tried
movies,
rewatching
I'll
and I couldn't,
rewatch
bro.
them. I
I
actually
couldn't.
haven't tried to rewatch Nine, but I guess yeah, it was
Let me try and
giving
rewatch Nine
weird
now
vibes.
whilst I'm working.
Okay.
Oh yeah, what do you think of this? Have you seen this presidential candidate, Robert Chapman?
Hmm. Um. I. I'm always fascinated by candidates in Zimbabwe who pull up last minute, like
Yeah,
couple of months
because
before
I was like,
elections,
dog, in
because
January,
I
really?
understand there seems to be a part of it which is it's either he just wants a seat at the table, which may be the case, um, and if he wants a seat at the table, then sharp. But if it's not for a seat at the table and it's genuinely to try and challenge, then
He's
I'm
not serious.
then yeah, then you're not serious. Like besides the whole, I don't want to even get into the whole conspiracy to divert and divide votes and all of that nonsense. It could be, but I can't speak to that. People who are more politically within the Zim space will say similar to Simba Makoni and Kosana Moyo in the sense that these guys
Yeah,
decided just before elections to try and run for power, and that split opposition or leading opposition votes. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know his motives. All I can comment on is the actual campaign and the timing of it, which is piss poor. If you're going to try and run for an election less than a year without like Zimbabwe, most of Zimbabwe's population is rural, right? People are still in rural
yeah.
areas. That's a huge voter base, and it feels like this is just for the people who are online on Twitter and Facebook who are connected to the internet. I can only critique that and say it's poorly planned.
I saw his video that he released, and I mean, again, to me, I was like, oh, this is dope. I'd be interested in what you have to say in terms of policy and whatever. But immediately when he started speaking, I was like, there's no way a guy who sounds like this with this type of twang is going to be president of Zimbabwe. Like, no, it's just not going to happen. People are not
No,
going to
it's not.
vote for the twang. It's your best bet
It's
is
not
like
gwash enough.
how like at CBC we had head boy, deputy, and senior prefect. I think his best bet is like senior prefect. I think in his wildest dreams, senior
Still not going
prefect
to
is like
happen.
that's the position because it's. But you know what? Senior prefect was the most diverse. It was senior prefect. I saw the most diverse faces as senior prefect in my short time at CBC, whereas head boy and deputy was very straightforward. If he wasn't
It was
white,
very
he was black.
straightforward.
It was just kind
Yeah.
of even black. It was kind of black started like the class of 2011. That's where it kind of who was the head boy? Look who's
China.
in Brian and them's year. Chino
China
was
was
head
it,
boy,
boy.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But like his booty, Tamban, the older brother, he
Never.
wasn't. He was just a prefect, right?
Yeah, he was a
I don't think
prefect.
he
But
was.
do
Or
you
was he
think
deputy?
even because even if you want to get like a position or a seat at the table. You still need to have like maybe at least minimum a year of campaigning, and a year of serious
Yeah, I
campaigning.
mean,
Like by a year of
even
campaigning, I
his like his
mean
tweets don't have that much traction. So I know
get
he's
get
not
in your
as well known.
I mean, get in your 4x4 and go to the remote areas of Zimbabwe campaign. That's how I see a serious electoral candidate, and not for president, even for like an MP position. Like you should be going
Does he
into.
speak any local language fluently? Because I don't think I've
I have
heard
no
that.
idea. I have no idea. I have no idea. I can't comment.
Because if he
But
doesn't,
yeah,
it's
I
like,
think,
bro, don't waste my time.
like I
Like, if
said
you don't
just now,
speak
Mr.
Shona,
Naps, he's
it's
he's
like,
he's
come
not
on.
gwash enough. He's not gwash enough. You need to. Otherwise, the people won't relate, dog.
Ah, yeah, no, somebody let Chapman know, like, Chief, you're not gwash enough, dog, to win the vote. You need to have a certain level of gwash in you. It's too much twang. Like, it's cheese boy. It's too much cheese boy. Like, a cheese boy will never be
Exactly.
president of Zim. It's just
Chispa
not
will
gonna
never be
happen.
president of Zim.
Like, Chapman belongs on a podcast, bro. Like, it's just the truth. From what I'm seeing from afar, I would love for him to be president. I'd love for anyone, to be honest, who's Zim positive, people positive, to be president. I don't care where you're from, to be honest with you. That's how fed up I am with the leadership. Where it's like, nah, I just need someone who gives a fuck about the country. And let's go from there. Anything is even if he has no ideas, I'm like, you know what? At least as long as you're trying to fix the country, that's good enough for me. We
Yeah.
can compete about policies later. Like people are, hey, what's your policy? I'm like, policy, yani, bro. When the current government is not doing anything, it's like, bro, you want
Yeah.
to hear all his policies. He's not going to give his buddies all the money. Let's start with that one. You know what I mean? Let's start with
That's the
the
big one.
embezzling of government funds. Yeah, let's start there. It's like you come in, you come on the podium like, I'm not gonna embezzle funds. I'm like, okay, you've got my vote. Provided that
Yanko.
you're being honest, right? But yeah, that's
Yeah.
all I need, bro. Like, cause the situation is bad in Zim right now. It's terrible. It's like how peak things are for someone to call you and be like, bruh, it's worse. What do you mean it was worse? It was the pits last year. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
what are
And
we
that's
doing?
something I always say.
You know?
So sometimes I don't know if you ever feel that way, but when you live in a foreign country, you can get a bit homesick. And you have home FOMO, if that makes sense. So whenever there's like family gatherings, you're like, fuck, I wish I was there. You go home for December, it's a good time. We went home in April last year, it was a good
Yeah.
time. And you just miss
Yeah.
that's just being home and being able to like have Sunday lunch with your parents, right? Because you're always like, yo, okay, cool. I don't have that in this place. I wish I could move back home and do it. And then whenever I say that, most of my friends in Zim are always like, yeah, don't even think that. I'm like, no, but guys, you don't understand. It's not easy in a foreign country.
Yeah.
There's even load shedding now, so
Yeah.
it's so fanana. It's like, don't even. So there's always that, right? And it's an election
Yeah.
year, so I'm sure we'll speak a lot about that going forward. But I share the exact same sentiments as you. That look, anyone who's positive about making an impression on the country.
Well, my man has disappeared. Uh, oh man, the guy is speaking about load shedding, and then he gets hit by load shedding. If anything, 6 foot weights is just poetic, guys. But he's still here on the call, so I don't know what's going on. But I guess it is what it is. I'm gonna see Violet Leon Daba. Yeah, we're just warming up. We back. So yeah, guys, like the ting, subscribe to the ting, retweet the ting, and if you don't, we are inclined to believe you is a hater. Yeah, I just said Mr. Moyo. Let's pretend he said laters.